Hi, welcome back everyone. As per requested, we'll be testing Bitdefender free against Comodo Security Premium. I did update Bitdefender to the latest version where I had to restart the machine, so hopefully the new product version has fixed some bugs. And for Comodo, I am aware that there's a new Internet Security Pro 2022 version, but that seems to be a trial, so I'll test that later on. So for now, we're still going to test the Security Premium as it's still the free version. So for Bitdefender, for those who do know it, there's not much that you can change on the free version. So we only have Bitdefender Shield. I'm just going to turn it off while I'm here. Okay, and then we have Advanced Threat Defense, which I'm also just going to quickly disable. And then we'll obviously test the online threat prevention. So for Comodo, there's a little bit more that we can change. Okay, so under settings, antivirus, pretty much everything is enabled. Firewalls enabled. HIPS is enabled. And to monitor all of this, containment is enabled, and to run automatically in containment. And these are the containment rules. File ratings enabled. Virus scope is enabled. I also did notice with the new Internet Security Premium there's only one recognizer, where Premium has these two, so I'm not sure why that is. And then script analysis, miscellaneous enabled, secure shopping and website filtering is enabled. So obviously for this test we'll be using the Comodo Dragon browser, as we did with Adaware as well. So we'll be using the browser that comes with the product. Quickly gonna just disable Comodo so that we can extract the malware, and then we'll continue the test. Okay guys, so now that all the malware has been executed, Bitdefender did do an update. Let's just make sure that Comodo is up to date. For the sample count, we have 1908. So as you guys can see, zip files, PowerShell, VB scripts, Excel documents, Word documents, and application files. Okay, just waiting for Comodo to finish. Okay, so Comodo is also up to date, so let's get the protection going. Okay, so Bitdefender is now fully protected. Let's just close that. Let's just get Comodo's protection going. Okay, so obviously for the first test, we'll test the malicious website. So these are new, fresh links that I searched for. So we'll test that. Okay, so as you guys can see, Comodo has contained the scripts. So it's blocking all this malware. Okay, so Comodo is not even allowing the browser to open to these malicious files because of the script. Okay, so what I'm going to do is for this test, let's just disable auto containment quickly, because that won't interfere with web browsing then. So that being disabled, let's try again. I think that might be a host intrusion. So Comodo is not liking any of this. Okay, let's see what happens now. Okay, so while Comodo is doing its thing, good. So let's quickly have a look see at Bitdefender. Sorry guys, I did not use Firefox for this test, so just bear with me on this one. Okay, I'm just quickly going to go through it. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, so those ones are done. Let's see what happened to Comodo. I see that a couple of files did manage to download. Okay, the other ones were killed off. So let's have a look-see at our downloads. Okay, so Bitdefender didn't allow anything to download, so that's really good. Comodo unfortunately did allow these files to download. Okay, so we'll leave these malware here and see if Comodo is able to remove them via the scan. But obviously if you do try to open them, auto containment should kick in. But that seems like a clear win for Bitdefender in the web browsing. Even though we did use the Comodo browser, it didn't manage to stop some of the downloads, so we'll just count that against Comodo. Okay, so I think that's nice, quick and easy. I think it's now time to jump into the main part of the show. Okay, so they're all popping up. Comodo's blocking a couple of things, application contained. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy a nice cup of coffee. I'm gonna attend to this stuff, and then we'll look at the results as soon as they're both done. Okay guys, so I just need to point out that the Bitdefender VM did reboot on its own. Not sure why, so I'm gonna wait till it's up again, and then I'll continue the test with Bitdefender, but I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so the malware tests are finally done. I got some sad news for the Bitdefender fans. It seems like we do have ransomware infection on the machine. So you'll notice that the VMUTERR, I'm not even trying to pronounce that, is the same extension that we do have on the machine. Let me just quickly go and show you guys an example. Is here we have this file extension. Not all the files in the malware folder was affected, but we do have a bit of that, and I did spot it on other places as well, but we'll look at that at the end. So let's just quickly see. So according to PE Explorer, we have this one that's running. Let's quickly see what Virus Total has to say. But that seems to be the only one that's standing out. Okay, startup items only seems to be this one. So this is a startup item. And it's under app data roaming Microsoft, so it seems like it's a Microsoft app, but I don't think that's legitimate. Okay, so Avast, AVG, Avira, ESET, F-Secure, McAfee, SentinelOne, and Sophos knows about this malware. All the other vendors do not know about this as of yet, so it seems like it's a fairly new one. Let's quickly look at Comodo. So all these files have been submitted. Let's just close all of this. Okay, so for Comodo, let's quickly see if there's anything running. Okay, doesn't seem like it. Okay, can't see any funny startup items. Okay, and Comodo wants to restart to remove malware, so I'm gonna allow that, and then I'll do a normal restart for Bitdefender. I did not see if there was any restart pending by Bitdefender. It's obviously doing an update, so I'll just wait for that to finish, then I'll restart the machine. But for Comodo, I'll restart it via this, and then we'll start the full scans. Okay, so the scans are done, so it looks like there is some good news, at least for Bitdefender, is, drumroll, full scan has finished. So it looks like the version that I updated it to before the test seems to have maybe fixed this problem, because this is the first time I was able to complete a full scan, although it took a lifetime. I did a context menu scan on the C drive, as you can see, finished much quicker. But all the malware has been resolved. 2 malware did not resolve, as they were password protected. So for Comodo, 440 has been removed. Let's just close everything that is open. There are files that are malicious. Okay, so we're gonna restart these 2 machines so that we can then start the third-party opinion scans, and then we can finish up this test. Okay guys, so it's time to look at the results. So let's look at Bitdefender. So according to Hitman Pro, only a couple of malware on the desktop and cookies, and that's about it. Okay, so for Comodo, it's still uploading the files, 265, but we're not going to wait for that. So let's just quickly go through. Okay, so for only malware on the desktop, so Comodo obviously missed quite a lot of malware via the signatures, so let's just see. Okay, still malware on the desktop. Okay, so these are just cookies. Okay, so it's uploading the malware on the desktop. Okay, so then it's those files that downloaded in the first test with the web test. So these are the malware in the downloads folder. Malware sample again, downloads. And that's it. Okay, cool. So nowhere else is malware detected, app data or things like that, so that's good. We'll just close that. Norton. Okay, so app data roaming. So start up here. Same on this one. For Comodo, it seems like it's only malware in the test folders, and then under downloads. Okay, let's look at MSISoft. Okay, so MSISoft only picked up 1 malware on the desktop. Okay, so let's look at Comodo. Okay, so 1 under app data, local temp. So it says it's a toolbar. so it's just something that might add to your browser, and it's a PUP, so it's not malware. Okay, malware on the desktop. Again, so there are the malware under the downloads folder as well, and that is that. So nowhere else malware, so that's good. Okay, let's look at Malwarebytes. Okay, so there is files on the desktop under the malicious websites new folder. Okay, so that's other malware that I just moved. Still malware on the desktop, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 registry keys. Okay, for Comodo app data is that same one. These are just shortcuts. Okay, a couple of shortcuts that leads to the malware on the desktop, so that's fine. Okay, then we've got malware on the desktop, yes. It should see the malware in the downloads folder. Okay, so here's the malware on the in the downloads folder, and then according to, we have one PUP registry key. It seems like it's at least it's a PUP and not malware. Okay, so that's good to see. These ones for Bitdefender are all malware registry keys. Let's quickly look at our startup items. Okay, so startup items for Bitdefender. We do have 1, 2 startup items that are not supposed to be here. For Comodo, we have no startup items. Okay, let's waiting for the hashes to be submitted. Okay, and for those who have noticed that Comodo says it's at risk, it's just because I disabled the firewall so that the third-party vendors can do the cloud scan quicker. So let's just enable it. Okay, so for Bitdefender, I'm just gonna have a quick squiz. Okay, doesn't seem like anything is still running. We obviously do have PowerShell. That's not normal for a idle machine. So obviously, I also did notice upon the startup, PowerShell does launch. So I think one of those 2 startup items. Let's just maybe quickly go back to them. Yeah, so that's the one in apps as well. Yeah, so every time when the machine did restart, I noticed PowerShell did come up. So one of these 2 do query PowerShell, maybe for a fileless attack. For Comodo, let's quickly have a look-see. Okay, so nothing dodgy is running. Let's have a look at our files. Okay, so desktop seems to be fine for Bitdefender. We obviously there are a couple of apps that did install on both these machines. Look at downloads. Downloads is clean. These are the files that downloaded. Documents. Okay, so yes, our documents have been encrypted by this type of ransomware. Okay, it doesn't say anything there. Let's look at the README. Okay, so this is the file. That's the extension. Okay, let's look at our pictures. Okay, so all our pictures have been encrypted as well, hence why the desktop background is black. Can't show my picture. For Comodo, everything seems good. Okay, so I think this is the conclusion. So let's quickly have a look at Bitdefender, pros and cons. So cons, I would say it's the first time on my channel that Bitdefender has succumbed to ransomware, so that was quite interesting. So we unfortunately do have ransomware infection. Pictures, documents and things like that are gone. Because it's the free version, it does not have the function to roll back like the premium. So for those who have wondered if there is a difference between the paid and the free version, maybe take this as an example, because if you had the paid version and the ransomware did slip through like it did, then at least you had a good chance of the rollback function to undo the damages. It's not always a guarantee that it will be able to do or undo those damages, but at least with the paid version you can undo that. So that's a good indication between the free and the paid versions. Yeah, so unfortunately that is the only cons that I can find with Bitdefender, but it's a big one. It is ransomware infection. Pros, I would say obviously good signatures, not a lot of malware is left, but obviously a lot of our samples have been encrypted as well, as you can see. If you wonder why it's in Internet Explorer, during the test I accidentally clicked on the associated program for Internet Explorer. So that is not the default logo for the ransomware, but as you can see, a lot of the samples have been infected, and there's still almost 400 samples left. Cons for Comodo, I would say they need to sharp up their web filtering and their web browsing, and also we did use the Comodo Dragon browser, so I would say that is a con for Comodo when it comes to websites blocking malicious downloads. They need to improve that a bit. But there's no other cons that I can. Oh, and then maybe another con is also signatures. Comodo is not always one of the vendors that have the latest signatures. So as you can see, still 1,379 samples on left, and still quite a lot of unknown files on the machine. So Comodo can step up their signatures a bit as well, keep them more up to date. Or get with the program basically with all the other vendors. But for those who do know Comodo, is they don't rely on signatures as much as the other vendors. Maybe that's why they're not as quick to release them. Positives for Comodo again, no ransomware infection, no infection anywhere else, no malware outside the normal test locations. Only for Malwarebytes to have found that or Malwarebytes and MSIsoft found that PUP, that looks like it's a toolbar added for your browser, and then obviously the registry key that was added for it, but they all listed as PUPs at least, so at least it's not malicious malware. It's just PUPs. You can maybe just uninstall it. The auto containment did work really well. So Comodo's proactive defense yet again was shown to be really good. And yeah, so this was quite an interesting test, guys. I really didn't expect these results from Bitdefender, but yeah, so Comodo did really good. So I think it's a no-brainer on who's the winner here. So Comodo is taking the first place on this one. We will be doing the other requests as well to spice it up a bit. So we'll throw some different vendors into the mix, and yeah. So I would say this is the end of this test, guys. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video, if it was informative. Let me know about some more tests. I will be working on the challenge. I'm just still working on how to score the programs and things like that. But for now, I'm just going to do normal versus battles like these, and then later on we'll do the tournament. But for now, I'll see you guys. And let me know in the comments what other tests you want, and then I'll see you guys soon.